And so I heard Shoro growing up quite a bit. And I had one of his albums and I just listened to it over and over and over again. But the music is very difficult to play on the harp. So I didn't really play Shoro music growing up. But then in college, one day, a clarinetist that I was playing in a duo with put the music for Dolce de Coco on my stand and said, let's read this today. And that was it. From then on, I could not stop playing Shoro music. I thought, wait a second, I can actually do this. And I started to kind of try to figure out how to play Shoros on the harp. But no one was really there to teach me because no one really plays, or very few people play Shoros on the harp. So I was just kind of making it up, trying to learn as much as I could. And then I landed in Los Angeles, and I was at USC working with Aron Serfati, and he taught me some things, and he said, you really need to study with Ted Falcon. Ted Falcon is the person that you need to study with. And I said, well, where's Ted Falcon? And he said, well, Ted Falcon's in Brazil, so you have to wait. But then our friend and colleague Clarice Cast gave me a call one day, and she said, Liza, Ted is back in Los Angeles. You need to call Ted. So I called Ted, and here we are. So working with Ted was really when I think I started to really develop techniques to really realize the rhythms and the melodies on the harp. And I think my Shoro playing really just went skyrocketed working with Ted, because as you know, Ted plays so many different instruments, and I think working with someone who could show me how to play these rhythms and melodies on the piano and the guitar and the mandolin, then I could really start to translate onto the harp. So that's a little bit of my Shoro journey. It's been about 10 years now.
Well, it certainly is interesting. Of course, Mike Marshall, the instigator of so much of Shoro music, along with David Grisman, the two of them really brought Shoro music to North America, and I'm ever indebted to both of them for what they did. And then, of course, we have Ted, who I took my first workshop with you down in Brazil camp somewhere around 2008 or 9 or something like that, under those beautiful redwood trees. How are you doing, Ted?
I'm just so glad that she finally finished it. We with the pandemic, things got put on hold, and we were like, when are we going to finish this thing? It's been done for about a year and a half or so. So to have it released, she was waiting for the right time. And so I'm excited for Liza to do this, put it public. I think it's just gorgeous. When she contacted me, people say, well, how can you teach harp? You don't play the harp. And I've taught many instruments, cello, and I've taught people on various instruments. And it comes down to more about the music than the instrument. You know, it's about articulation. Like she was saying, how does a 7-string guitar sound? And I try to get that kind of articulation on a guitar on the harp. So she'd have to muffle the notes or mute the things. And there was a lot of just carryover from one instrument to the other. So it was more about the big picture than being a harpist. I don't play the harp, but I didn't need to. Because we're talking about real stylistic elements of the music that I was already studying. I wrote guitar books, and when I lived in Brazil and worked at the Clube de Choro, I was working with Henrique Neto to make the Choro books for the Clube de Choro, and I did a lot of transcriptions, and I studied almost like a doctorate when I was living in Brazil so intensely. So when I came back to the U.S., I was grateful to have a student who could actually teach some of this very detailed kind of material, you know, that was specific to Choro, you know.
Yeah. Well, Liza, what song I've got the CD cuts here. What song would you like me to open with to sort of demonstrate the CD for folks?
Sure, we can go ahead and open with just the title track, A Outro Lado, the first track.
Okay, let's do that. Here is the first track of A Outro Lado. sake of being able to get as much time with the two of you. That's part of O Outro Lado, which is a new CD, the title tune and the name of the CD from Liza Wallace and with Ted Falcon on it as well. Liza, what else? We have them on the radio right now with us. We're doing a live interview with them from the Los Angeles area. Liza, who else is on this CD? You've got some beautiful musicianship going on there. What else is on there?
Great, yeah. So Ted Falcon is the CD producer, and Ted also played violin and mandolin and piano on the album. Mm-hmm. And then we have Nando Duarte on 7-string guitar and bass, and he also is the sound engineer for the album. And then we have Clarice Cast on percussion, pandero, and she brought in all her percussion instruments to the studio. Then we have Adam Gust on drums for a couple of the tracks for Ted's tune Fogo e Vento, and also for Capivara by Hermeto Pascual. And then we have, on that first tune, we have John Tegmeyer on clarinet. And then we have Fay Roberts on flute for a couple of the other tunes. And then we have the chromatic harmonica, and that's Ilya Portnov. So we have a lot of different instrumentations depending on the piece.
Absolutely. And Nando is, of course, he's been through town here before, fabulous guitar player. And as I understand, that's a beautiful engineering job you did on the sound of that. I've got headphones on right now listening to as we listen to it, and it's a beautiful balance and tone to the whole thing. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
So where do you go from here? What do you plan on doing with the CD? First of all, let's make sure, how do people get the CD if they want to download the tracks or listen to the tracks? What are the outlets for it?
Absolutely. So right now it's available, excuse me, it's available on Bandcamp. Okay. And it's lizawallace.bandcamp.com. And it's available for streaming and download there. And we're going to do like a month on Bandcamp, and then in May it'll be available on all the other platforms, so iTunes and Spotify, and we'll also have the physical CDs ready to go in May as well.
Excellent. Well, good. And Ted, what's been news with you in terms of performances? Did I see you on YouTube or Facebook or something with some outdoor thing going on, like a big jam session last week?
Yes. So in Los Angeles for the last, almost 3 years, I've been doing like a Clube de Choro, like a LA Choro club. Uh-huh. The thing I missed most about Brazil when I got back to California was the jams.
Of course.
I used to play every weekend in Brazil, get together and play music for hours and hours and hours. And I got back, I'm like, that's over. What am I going to do? So I kind of took all my books and I created like a Choro club, and I said, let's meet at the park every week and let's just play. Well, recently, gigs stopped for a whole year with the pandemic, and a new place opened up in the other side of town it's Playa Vista, which is basically Marina del Rey, Santa Monica area. And they want live music, and I said, let's just bring the Choro band, and do the roda de Choro in a restaurant situation. Usually you would never think of doing something so informal in a kind of a nice place, and we played acoustically, and I don't know, 12 or 15 musicians came, and we just played acoustically, and it was a huge hit. We were all kind of just excited to play, and the audience was excited to watch. So it was kind of like we needed each other, like a long homecoming. So yeah, I did my first concert in a year last Saturday, to just great emotion. It was just so fulfilling to play. And Liza's going to be playing May 22nd at this place. I'm sure she'll have it on her website. But and Nando and Clarice and I are playing every 2 weeks. So I have this Saturday night gig now in LA, which is unusual to have a gig. And I'm sharing there's a singer here named Kathy Siegel Garcia, who's a fantastic jazz vocalist, and she does a daily interview on Facebook Live and Zoom and everything. She's a real go-getter in Los Angeles, and she asked me to co-host this kind of Saturday night event. So I'm getting all my friends gigs in the Choro world. It's basically a Choro gig every 2 weeks. which is fantastic.
It is fantastic. So many of us have, all over the world, have had this pent-up demand to go play, right? Liza, have you been playing anything else than that recently? Have you gotten a chance to get outside or get with a group of folks at all?
So the show in May will be my first live performance in over a year now, which is so crazy to say. I've done a couple like live stream concerts where either it's pre-recorded or we're streaming it live, but just a couple people, and then the concert goes up online. Mm-hmm. But yeah, May 22nd will be my first time playing live, which I'm so excited for. It's been such a crazy year of not playing live music together, so I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, me too. Our band got together in my garage last Sunday and played for a couple of hours. It was such a great feeling to get back together. All of us are now with our second shot, so we're all good to go, at least, and we still wear masks and stuff like that. But at any rate, well, why don't we go ahead and go out with a number of your choice? What would you like us to track out with?
Sure. Ted, would you like to choose a track?
Let's do the Cortajaka. Is really fun. We did it as a shochi and turns into a mashishi. It's got it's got a cool arrangement where we keep changing tempos. So every time it gets to like the end of the B section, there's a kind of fermata, and all of a sudden we go to another faster tempo. And in a Brazilian fashion, which I think is really fun about Brazilian music, is there's all these like time changes in the song, and everybody's got to catch up. I learned that from being in Brazil all those years and watching how the musicians actually just bring up the energy by changing the tempo.
It is an amazing situation. Well, thank you both for taking the time to get on here on Skype with me and be able to share with other people that are listening from all over the planet the wonderful news recording and information on what you've done, Liza. And we've been listening to Liza Rose Wallace and Ted Falcon talking about Liza's new CD that Ted has been performed on with a number of other people, O Outro Lado. And we're going to go out now with a tune called Cortajaka. This is an old choro piece, a standard for at least 100 years, if not 120 or so, like that. It's redone.
It's one of the first, yeah.
It's one of the first choros from the 1800s, and written by a woman, correct?
Correct.
If I remember right. And this is an amazing piece of music that just keeps getting reinvented, like Brasileiro and others, over and over again with new musicians and new instruments, and it's always a joy to hear it. Thanks, both of you, for being on here.
Thank you so much, Al.
Down the road. Okay, take care, Liza. Take care, Ted. Hope to play music with both of you somewhere down the road.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, we want to come up to Port Townsend and do our show.
Absolutely. We'll help make it happen here.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Stay healthy, both of you.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
You as well.
is a old choro tune redone new on the new CD Otro Lado by Liza Wallace and Ted Falcon helping her out there, along with a number of other great musicians. We've been listening to an interview with the two of them, and we're looking forward to them coming up here once we get this pandemic thing under control. Take care, you two. Bye-bye.